Hey guys, today we're in my old neighborhood, Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I just want to give you guys a little tour of the area. I'm here originally from the late 60s. So this is for you tourists, anybody that wants to know about the area, you old timers. So let's begin. As I walk in the street, I'm going to give you history from the old days, current times, where to eat. So let's enjoy. Hold on. Right now we're looking at Serena Bakery. If you guys are ever in the area, you could come here. They make fresh bread, pastries. It's on Norman Avenue, 207. It's right off the corner of Humboldt Street. So if you take the G train, you get off Nassau Avenue, you walk down. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the neighborhood. So hopefully you guys could learn something. Basically, they call this Little Poland. I just wanted, we're walking up Norman Avenue towards Russell Street. So basically they call this Little Poland. I'm going to explain why. I guess there's a lot of Polish people back in the 1900s, immigrants. And as far as me, when I came on the scene, a little history about myself. My parents, along with my sister, took a boat from Poland. They came here in the late 60s. Me, I was made in America. So I just want to describe how the area was back then. You old timers know exactly how it was, but I'm just going to educate the new people. Right now we're walking up Russell Street towards Nassau Avenue. So look around, I'm just going to give you the history. So when my parents arrived here, basically they really didn't have money. We moved into the other part of Greenpoint, which was, I guess, considered a war zone back in the days. But how people lived back then, so you guys understand, is we had moved into a 6-family house. I remember this like it was yesterday. And in the house, they only had one bathtub, which was in the basement. So everybody in the building, 6 families, would take a bath in that bathtub. Of course, we would tell everybody, hey, I'm taking a bath. Nobody came downstairs, so that's the way it was. And back then, they had the toilets, if you guys remember, with the wooden tanks above the toilet. You have to pull the chain and the water to come down. And some of you people from the late 60s, 70s, if you remember, Brooklyn was very tight-knit. Everybody sat on the stairs July, August. Really, nobody had AC. It was really hot. And then the good thing is that everybody looked out for everybody. When I grew up in the area, it was predominantly heavily Polish area. You had your Irish, you had your Puerto Rican, and Dominican. We all, for the most part, got along. There's a few, things here and there, but whatever. And I remember to this day, there was like a lot of gangs in the area. At a young age, I saw things I don't believe I should have saw, but that's the way it was. And back then, it's a different world. I remember the gangs would be on the corner, and I was like 5 years old. I'd run to the corner, get my candy, my jellyfish, things like that. And everybody protected you. They were like, bad people, put it that way, but nobody messed with you. It was a little weird. I realize that now. So like I said, you had your Polish, Irish, Puerto Rican, Dominicans. And I guess since we're from the same area, I felt safe there, but there was a lot of crime. Eventually, my parents were working very hard. They came here legally on a boat. They had no money. And eventually, after many years of hard work, we did pretty good. They became landlords. And we moved to the other part of town, which was the other side of Greenpoint Avenue, which was considered the better area back then. So below Greenpoint Avenue, if you guys remember, they had a lot of robberies, burglaries, meaning they break in your house. And what else? They had a lot of, in case children are watching, a lot of ladies that frequented the corner, put it that way. A lot of drugs in the area. Oh, so right now we arrived at Monsignor McGoldrick Park. It's on the corner of Nassau Avenue and Russell Street. I used to play in this park many years. It was good times here. This is called Monsignor McGoldrick Park. My understanding is he was a bishop that helped the homeless, and they renamed the park after him. Back in the days when I grew up here, the old timers always called it Winthrop Park. Winthrop Park, I'm sorry, and to this day I call it Winthrop Park. So a lot of people in my age group, they call it Winthrop Park. If you're a true Brooklyn Greenpoint person, Winthrop Park. So if you guys moved out of the area, you old timers, look around. I just want to show you how it changed. This was always, I have people next to me, so it's a little weird. This was always a beautiful park. Look, they have a playground here. So whenever you tourists come to New York, instead of going to the McCarran Park, which is whatever, it's okay. This is like a little mini Central Park. So look at these houses here. All these people live by the park. That's Nassau Avenue, North Henry Street. And look at this playground here. During the weekend, you have all the kids running around here. Back in the day, we didn't have this playground. I used to run around here also. So let me just take a little walk around here. And as I'm walking around Greenpoint, this is a brand new camera. My first day using it, so in case I mess up, my apologies. So what happened with this area over the years, let me explain. Hold on. So over the years, late 60s, I could tell you for myself when I was here like over 20 years. I am also a landlord in the area, so I'm here every week, and my family lives here. So I know the area very well. Everybody that knows me, they know I know it very well. So let's talk about the crime and then how it changed really. The crime was crazy from when I remember, from the 60s up until about 2005. Let me just hold on one second. So before that, it was like if you said you lived in Greenpoint, like when I used to go to high school, I went to the city, people would like laugh at you because it's a bad neighborhood. And the way I grew up, it was rough, but everybody did it. But what it is, it makes you a lot stronger. So right now, how the area changed. Like I remember in the late 90s, a lot of hipsters, you call them back in the days, artists, whatever, they couldn't afford Manhattan, so they came here. And the area started going up slowly. Even when I was renting my apartments, the rents were low. And then they were skyrocketed because what happens is, this is like a great area personally. I think it's a lot better than Manhattan. It's more the Brooklyn vibe that everybody knows everybody. Look at it, look how beautiful this is. All these houses here. Okay, I just lost my thought. So basically, when the area skyrocketed, that's because all the, I guess we call them hipsters, they came here, artists. And then the developers started coming here. They're like, whoa, something's going on with this neighborhood. Also, one of my buildings, just to give you guys a little heads up how to get a nice apartment here, it's a very heavy competition. So I predominantly 90% I rent my own places. If I'm busy, I'll give it to a broker. But I'm like a hands-on guy. And I would say 2 years ago, I'm not going to mention names, but I did an open house for one of my units. And I did like a 2-hour window, and I never saw it like this. Usually I have about maybe 100 people, but this was literally, I'm gonna say 350 to 400 people within 2 hours. It was insane. So everybody's trying to give me a deposit. I'm like, listen, I'm not taking a deposit. You like it, do the application, this and that. Bottom line is, one girl wanted it very badly. And, I forgot who was who. I was there like so many people. Everybody's talking to me. And I'm like, I'm not taking deposits, nothing until I get the application. Bottom line, I get back to my car, and I had so many people call me. So then she writes me a personal note about herself and her boyfriend. And I felt like I know her. I don't know. So then, I do a few credit checks, this and that. She went over the asking price, of course, a little. And then everybody else was just like cold. It was just like an application. I really didn't know them. So I went with this person. Another scenario is, look at these houses here. Another scenario was same thing. I had another tenant. Competition was brutal. Same thing. I didn't ask for it. A note was sent to me telling them about themselves. I checked out the paperwork. Everything was good. And I literally had, even maybe close to 20 applications. They all made about the same amount of money. So I went with the people. From that simple email, they called me on the phone. I felt I knew them. I went with them. To this day, they're still with me. So that's just a little heads up if you guys want apartments here. Let me show you the statue. I apologize. And I'm watching this camera because I don't want it to die. So this statue here is beautiful. It's dedicated to all the, I guess, if you could read it, living and dead heroes of Greenpoint who fought in the World War. So this is very nice. Unfortunately, they're no longer with us, but a very nice statue. Always remember your soldiers that fought hard for you. I always, let them know you appreciate their service. Right here to the left, that is PS, I don't know if my camera's working. Okay, it's PS 110. That was there many, many years. It's one of the original buildings. And then let me give some history. I'm jumping all over the place. This is new to me. Since this was such a heavy Polish area, if you guys ever drive here over, they called it Meeker Avenue Bridge, but it's really Tadeusz Kościuszko Bridge. I'll give you a little history from what I remember in school. He was a very good engineer. I understand he knew how to build forts. He helped George Washington. He helped America. So think back, and he was really into freedom for everybody. He was into having women have equal rights. Also, a history book says he tried to talk to, I guess, Thomas Jefferson to get rid of his slaves. He didn't want to do it, I understand it from reading the books, but eventually he was a nice person. He wanted freedoms for everybody. So if you're ever on the other side, it's Tadeusz Kościuszko Bridge. You guys, Brooklyn people will know it because the traffic is insane when you come here. But I drove here this morning, and they have a beautiful not graffiti, it's artwork. It's called Under the Bridge Park. They have you could ride your skateboard there, and for you guys, you health nuts and girls, they have a nice patch. You could run over to Maspeth. It's really, really nice. You could see you're overlooking the Newtown Creek, which is no big deal, but then you could see the New York City skyline. At night, they did lights. It's beautiful when you come over besides the traffic. It looks very nice. The other part of Greenpoint, you have, it was named after, it's Pulaski Bridge, it's named after Kazimierz Pulaski. And with him, the story was he was very good on riding horses. I guess they called it cavalry back in the days. So the bottom line, during the war, he helped. And according to history books, George Washington was about to be taken down. He jumped on his horse with a couple of George Washington's bodyguards. They rushed the people trying to, I guess, get them. In the process, he got shot, and I believe he died a few years later. So they named that bridge after him, Kościuszko Pulaski, because this was a Polish area, and he did a lot of great things. So I always like to read about people back in the past, and the reason I'm here, besides trying out my new camera, I just want to give you guys a little history. I've been in this neighborhood a very, very long time. So right now, look what they did here. This is nice. You have the city bikes here. So if you're in Long Island City on a nice day, don't do it on a rainy day, ruins the day. You ride these bikes here. You could basically park it here. Don't worry about stealing because it's not your bike, no big deal. And then you walk around the neighborhood. Also for you young guys, I don't want to give everybody advice, but hold on, because I got somebody by me, so it's a little awkward. Hold on, just look around. Yeah, so we're on this side of McGoldrick Park, which back in the day, the Brooklyn people call it Winthrop Park, but it's officially Monsignor McGoldrick Park. But also the bakery I had showed you, the Serena. A lot of tourists or you young guys, girls in your 20s, besides, I guess, texting each other, I'm old-fashioned. How about you take them here for nice coffee, cake, sit down. You come here on a sunny day, it's beautiful here. Right now it's a Monday, everybody is in school, and it's about 1:30. Right now we have a dog park here. So even for your tourist, this is a great area. You can sit down, relax. So I'm going to take you to the church now, just look around. Yeah, so if you guys look up over the red building, that's St. Stanislav Costco Church. We're going to take a walk there, and I'll give you a little history there. Also, when I grew up as a kid, I went to Catholic school. It was St. Cyril and Methodius at the other side of Greenpoint. That's considered the bad part. That's where I grew up, unfortunately. But a lot of you guys, if you're watching, you're out of the New York area, a little heads up, they did like a condo building there. I was there the other day, and they still have this sign that says boys and girls where you had to enter the school. So it's, I guess it's amazing how this area changed. But anyway, back to the church. You can see this church was like heavily populated. I'm standing like a block away. We kind of come closer. And according to the old timers, I wasn't there. I think in the late 60s, Pope John Paul II, who was our Pope, he was from Poland. His original name, I'm not sure what it was. I don't want to give you bad information. But the older generation told me he served here for a little while. He actually slept here. And then when he became a Pope, everybody's like extremely proud of him. I'm just going to zoom up. So as I'm walking close, I'm just going to give you some history here. So it is still a heavy Polish area, not as crazy like it was back in the days. But if you walk in here, a lot of people speak Polish. Like right now, let me see here, hold on. On the corner you have Sky Flowers, that's a Polish-run business. And right now we're gonna look up at a church. I'm gonna try to pan up. And the camera's not working. Yeah, so it's a beautiful church. History has it that this church, I guess they had a petition to put it here, and eventually they ended up putting it here. So when Humboldt and Nassau, Humboldt Street and Riggs Avenue. Hold on. I'm just gonna show you a little front view. Yeah, so the masses they still have here, Polish, English. Oh, the church was actually built in 1903, I didn't know that. Also, as a little kid, that's the story I was going to tell you. Up the block, my parents would send me to Polish school on Saturday, which back then I really hated. I was a little mad. And they sent us for the Polish folk dancing, which now as I'm older, I actually thank them. It taught me a lot of Polish history. So let me just show you here, and then we'll walk over to the school here. Yeah, so St. Stanislav Kostku, I'm saying it not correctly, but they have a school up the block. Back in my time, they had Polish classes on Saturday, like I said, which I hated. And then, let me see. Yeah, so here's a statue of the Pope, Pope John Paul. On the bottom, if you could read, it says, "Nie bój się." That means, for you guys that don't speak Polish, it says, "Do not be afraid." And that's basically good advice. Like when I look at my parents, how they came here, basically we started with nothing. Now we did pretty good for ourselves. I'll leave it at that. But it's Nebuchadnezzar means do not be afraid. So all you guys and girls, younger ones, older ones, if you think back to the immigrants that came here, it says do not be afraid. Like with my parents and other people, generations, they took a boat here. They didn't know the language. They came here. And I remember I'd always have to interpret everything for them. So I guess that makes a person stronger. But the Pope says, "Nie bój się," in Polish, do not be afraid. So if you don't take a chance, you'll never know what happens. So right now we're walking up Driggs Avenue towards Diamond Street. Yeah, the kids are coming out of school. Let's cross over here. Yeah, the school was right on the corner. When I came here, because I was a student in a different parish, which was St. Cyril Methodius, but they had Polish classes on Saturday. You learn how to talk Polish. They gave you the history, look very nice. And then after that, they made us do the, it's called the polka or krakowanki, if I remember correctly. It's up on the next corner, I'll show you. That used to be a big Polish place where they had Christmas music and everything. Let me show you. And then right here, if you guys remember, to the left, you had the Continental Club. It was a Polish nightclub. They had parties there, New Year's, stuff like that. They were very nice. So that's the reason, I guess they call it Little Poland. And to this day, you have a lot of people that speak Polish here. A little funny story. Myself, one of my places was being renovated, so I had to get some supplies. And at the end of Brooklyn, it's like a big Chinese building supply company. They're very, very successful. I don't want to say the name, but I was there. I had to get some supplies. And then a woman walks in. She's, I guess, about 35-ish. Couldn't really speak English. So the guy behind the counter, who's Chinese, you know, he spoke broken English to me. He was able to communicate with me, not an issue. But she was trying to say something, so I was kind of rescue her. But the Chinese guy, who speaks broken English, pretty good, impressive. That's not his first language. He goes to her, "Co pani potrzebuje?" That means, what do you need in broken Polish? And I'm like, my jaw dropped. And then the bottom line, she needed sheetrock screws, so he got it for her. But to the immigrants, or you young guys and girls, don't be afraid. Meaning, he came to this country also. He learned English, he learned Polish, which is impressive enough. So we're walking up Driggs Avenue towards Eckford. If you look on the corner, hold on, they're doing some construction here. So right there, unfortunately somebody did graffiti, but this was called the Warsaw. We used to dance there. Let me show you. Yeah, so I'm going to show you. And some of you guys that moved out of the area, I understand that sometimes they have concerts here. Hopefully you can hear me. Who remembers going through that door doing dances? We're just gonna walk down Eckford Street. This is basically for you future visitors. When I'm in the area, I see like a lot of people standing online, which you should never do here. There's so many nice restaurants. You have, oh my God, Italian, Polish, Chinese. I mean, there's everything here. So there's no need for you to stand online. I'm gonna